Hello and welcome back to Premier League Blitz Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1 with me, Elliot Ward, and my co-host, Callum.
It's nice to be back.
So that intro took us about 2 times, so not too bad from being a bit rusty. So we'll just straight hop onto last week like we did last year. We've got a few new segments to do today just for a first episode, so it will be a bit longer. I think we're going to do player at season, young player at season, manager at season, signing at season, and then we're just going to go into a league table. Let's start with last week. Friday, Arsenal 3, Coventry 0. Started well for the title holders, and then newly promoted Coventry didn't look brilliant, but you can never judge someone off starting against Arsenal. Really convincing result for Arsenal.
I think Arsenal proving a lot of the doubters wrong. I felt the consistent thing with Arsenal last season is that no one was impressed with their football style. Very defensive, very slow. I didn't see much of that football against Coventry. I didn't see much of that football against Man City. Honestly, if they win the league this season, which most people, including me, think they will, if they do that playing football like this, you can't really complain. They're playing good football.
No, and I think the obviously addition this season to having Lewis Skelly in midfield, which is looking like it could be a thing, I think it just makes him a bit faster. I think he's a bit more forward thinking, and it showed really. And this Solis kid on the wing as well, he looks really good. So it'd be interesting to see how he works in that team if he stays in that position all season, which I presume he will off his first start. So, and then he's done well in pre-season as well, and then Lewis Skelly coming in. I think it sets him up well. To be fair.
Honestly, I don't think they put much of a foot wrong in their first few games, and I can't really see anything but them defending their title.
I've got to agree with you, which we'll see in our table predictions, I think, in a bit. But
yeah,
going on to Saturday now, obviously getting Arsenal out of the way. Hull 2, Manchester United 0. An amazing game
what a game.
for me. But yeah, a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I thought Man United
would
have a quite... Oh, for you as well, yeah, obviously. I thought Man United would have a good season. Obviously, it's still first game, so you can't really see where their season will go. But
yeah,
it's a bit of a shock to the system, and I think Hull's 2 goals were, especially the one with Maguire marking his own man, I think it's pretty avoidable. 2 set pieces, so... Yeah, it's a bit of a shock, but well done to Hull, I guess, and it's nice to see a new team coming up and beating one of the big ones like that.
Just before I speak, I'm just going to move this across a little bit.
Okay.
I look like I'm looking to the side completely, and it's bugging me. Oh my god!
It's all right. I'm looking this way to look at the results, which I've wrote down, so I remember.
I'm going to have to close the tab because my laptop's being stupid. It's not the best thing. There we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and to whoever's editing this, just like take the mick out of me or something, like make a joke.
Well, we'll just cut it out and I'll start. Do you want me to start back from Saturday for Hull 2?
No. Just keep that in. It's my mistake. We can all laugh at me later. As on Hull, I was really impressed with them. I thought they looked brilliant. Like, many people were like, including me, put them bottom, right? Because statistically, they weren't one of the best teams last season in the Championship, we'll say that. And they weren't one of the best to watch in the Championship last season. But they've come up. I think they've spent well. And I feel like they know what they are. They're not going to be playing the best football, we know that. But the fact that they know what they are, I think I've kind of lost my head a little bit because of the camera thing. But I don't think they'll stay up, but I do think they'll be like the Luton Town, like go down by like a point or two. Because they look solid. They set up brilliantly. And although their attack could, maybe do a bit more because both their goals come from centre halves, I think they've nailed down what they are to a T, and I can't really see them being bottom anymore.
Yeah, it's just the fact. I think if the season's a long season, we know that, and we know how results can go, and we know how results can go the other way as well.
Yeah.
It's just the fact if they can keep it up by getting these results here and there. Obviously, they're not going to win every game. They're not going to draw games that they're going to draw. It's just the fact of picking up points where they can, and if they can, then they could have a good go at it. Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then speaking of newly promoted sides, Ipswich 2, Sunderland 1. Another promoted side winning, 2 of the 3 winning, which is quite good. And I know a lot of people say Sunderland are going to have a tough year, obviously being in Europe as well, which I do think the same. But I don't know. I think Ipswich are just a bit of fodder for the league. and I know it seems harsh, but I just I don't think much of them. Same as last year, I think they're one of these teams that'll be like your Norwiches and your West Broms, your Burnleys, who are just going to go up and down. And to get them a result against Sunderland, I mean, it's a big confidence booster. And we saw, some of their new players come in and do well. That Julio Enciso over there on loan before, I think he did really well. He played really well. So yeah, a bit of another shock, but not too much of a shock, not compared to the whole Man United game, but still very decent result for Ipswich.
It's a very good result for him. Originally, I didn't have the highest aspirations for him. Obviously, when Kieran McKenna stepped down for a break in football. But I think Gary O'Neill's a very underrated manager. I think he's very good for like where they are in the league, sort of relegation scrap. I think they've spent really well. I think that Emerson they brought in looks a really good striker. And for years, I've always wondered how Enciso's ended up at like Strasbourg and Ipswich because I think he's way too good a player to be there. And I was amazed when they managed to re-sign him, let alone for under 30 million. It's madness. I think he belongs at a top tier side. He's a very good player.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what we saw at Brighton, obviously, with him coming through, scoring bangers after bangers every week, I think you probably presumed all. Like your Chelsea, which, could have been a very big possibility for him. I think that would have suited Chelsea, but they've gone a different route, and he's gone back to Ipswich. And you see if Ipswich don't do very well this season, I think there'll be quite a few Premier League clubs after him. Definitely, good
Yeah.
signing.
I can't. I'm still not 100% on all three of the sides like going down or stay. I'm still not 100%. I think it's way too early to call it. Like when I did my predictions, I did put all three of them in the relegation zone, but obviously I made that video before my ball was kicked. I'm very skeptical of Ipswich because I always said Ipswich were the one that could have stayed up because like they've invested well and they've gone and beat Sunderland who were like one of the unbeatables last season. Like they barely got beat at home. They didn't get beat at home till like March. And they're a very solid side. I know they haven't invested much this summer, but to go and get a result against Sunderland, who were the big shock team of last year, I think that's brilliant. And honestly, I would not be surprised if they stay up.
Yeah, definitely. 100% a good result. Everton
Yeah,
2, Crystal Palace 0. I think pretty rubbish game. I did watch it. I were on holiday, so we had it in the bar next to the Leeds game, and I just
yeah,
think it were very boring. The bits that I watched,
yeah.
two pretty boring sides really. Crystal Palace haven't strengthened whatsoever this summer. I think they've brought a few in, but nothing brilliant at all to keep them, fighting for European places like they have been doing for the past couple of years. And losing Glasner as well, that's massive to a manager that hasn't been in the Premier League, Sage, whatever you call him.
Yeah.
I just think it's a tricky one for Palace, especially losing 2-0 to Everton with having chances as well from Mateta. I think missed a few quite decent chances. I just
I
think,
think,
yeah, poor result for Palace, but Everton, good result, starting season off, nothing massive.
yeah, I think Palace are in a lot of trouble here. Like, I think they've not strengthened at all. I'd say they've weakened. I think the biggest example of them weakening is the swap deal with Dwight McNeil. Why? I know Brennan Johnson didn't have the best time at Crystal Palace last season, but they must have been on the phone to Everton. Like Everton's agents must have been thinking, like, "Am I dreaming? You want to take Dwight McNeil, a guy who's got no legs and has been criticised quite openly by Everton supporters over the last couple of years, for Brennan Johnson, who ended Tottenham's 18-year trophyless run. Like it's madness, and that you've lost Maxence Lacroix, you've already lost Gahey 6 months ago. Only a year ago, you lost to Eze. And Mateta, I can't see Mateta staying, especially with Villa inquiring him this morning. Like honestly, especially with their manager, I found out from a mate, and I did watch the interview to confirm it. He said that they're not ready for the season. You've got a week left in the window. You're not ready for the new season. You've just been battered at the Hill Dickinson by Everton, a team that not a lot of people, especially their own fans, have high aspirations for this season. Like, I mean, I think they'll do all right, but like, I don't know. It's not a good sign, especially with them being in Europe. The extra European games, I could see them in a relegation battle.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Poor window, and like you said, the McNeil swap deal, which makes no sense whatsoever. I know the two
honestly,
aren't brilliant players, but Brennan Johnson is miles better than McNeil, and it's just
there's a
weird.
player in Brennan Johnson. I've said it since he was at Forest. There's really a player in him. and I've partly gutted to see him go to Everton. Oh,
Yeah, bet you are. Anyway, to
yeah,
round off Saturday, we had Brentford versus Tottenham, which ended at 3-0 Brentford. I think similar to last season, Tottenham are terrible. I watched it and I was like, I think Tottenham will do well. And I said from start of the season, I think under De Zerbi with these new signings, I think they will do well and challenge for
yeah,
Champions League. That was my thought process on it. And after seeing that, there's nothing that's changed whatsoever. And it's mad. I don't understand how they've gone from 5-6 years ago being pretty good and challenging for titles to absolute
yeah.
awful.
It's the
Even with these new
attack.
players, they've not got a striker after. Richarlison
Yeah.
is good when he's good, but he's not good often. So,
Richarlison's specifically good when he plays Liverpool. When he plays anyone else, he's just honking.
yeah.
It's like he just remembers he used to play for Everton and it's like, oh, I've got a score here, and then he just forgets he's a footballer. It's I don't know. I think Marmoush he's coming in. That's a very good signing. I do think there's something dodgy going on with the whole deal, like 85 million for Savinho. And I've heard something about there being like a certain buyback, not a buyback, like a certain amount of money going to Frankfurt if they get over a specific fee for Marmoush. So I do think there's something dodgy going on there. But on Spurs' side, I think it's a brilliant deal to bring in Savinho with his chemistry with Javi Simmons. I think obviously you've got Kudus back in like a month or two. He's going to make an impact. I know Marmoush. I think the only reason he never really made an impact at City was because of Haaland. Obviously, like no one's getting it. No one in world football's like going to delodge Haaland. Maybe Kane, but that'd be a stupid signing anyway. But I look at Tottenham and like since they've lost like Harry Kane, the whole attack's just been awful. Like Son without Kane didn't look right. It's like you can't have one without the other. And I just feel like because of that, they haven't really scored, and their defense has never been their strong point. So they're relying on defense. It's like England under Southgate. We were relying on defense when our defense was our weakest point. It's just not going to work. It's not
No,
going to
yeah,
roll.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think Marmoush is a good signing, especially if they play him up front rather than on wing, because with City he looked a bit lost on the wing, I thought, and he's a
Yeah.
striker. Everyone knows he's a striker, and I think he will score on goals, and I think it's a good signing, and I think they will kick on, but it's worrying to see that, and it could have been 4 as well with a penalty. Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I'm not sure.
Igor
Not
Thiago
sure with
didn't
them.
really finish his chances that game. I think if Igor Thiago, or maybe if that team, like maybe if that game was on at a 3 o'clock kickoff, maybe Igor Thiago would have scored a few more goals. You know what I mean?
If you want on
He's
telly.
not on the telly.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's rounded off Saturday. I think some mixed bag results, really. Oh, wait, I've missed one. Forest 0, Leeds 1.
How'd you miss that? You're a Leeds fan.
I know, but
And you
I
missed
just did
Liverpool
miss it.
Newcastle. Didn't talk about Liverpool Newcastle. You nearly spared me that.
That's on Sunday, isn't it? That was Sunday.
I thought you were talking about. Oh God, my head's gone. I thought you were talking about games in general.
No,
So
on
trying
the Saturday results, which I did miss my own team, which is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, good win away.
I think it's
I
promising
expected a
signs in
draw.
that team.
Yeah, I
There's a
expected
lot
a
of
draw, to
promising
be
signs.
honest.
Really?
Yeah, expected a draw. Would have been
Oh,
happy with a draw. First game, let's just get a point on board. Anything but a loss would have been a nice result, but to win it, obviously, Anton Stack's free kick, which wasn't brilliant for his standard, but keeper managed to push it into his own net, which were fantastic. But yeah, good result, solid performance, clean sheet. Can't complain. Good result.
honestly, think you could do things this season. I mean, you're not in Europe, and all the teams around you don't have much European pedigree, and they're all in Europe. And Newcastle, I know they look good against Liverpool, but that was mostly because they wanted to get one over Alexander Isak. I think honestly, I think you can maybe do like a European push this season if you're really lucky. But I don't know. I think you've invested well, and I feel like you've improved on the team you already have. So honestly, I think you should go for it.
Yeah, there's not too much. There's a lot of optimism, but I wouldn't mind finishing 17th again, to be honest with you, just to
I'm sure
stay
I
up
heard
and
like I'm,
stabilise it.
I'm sure I heard your fan base is like the most optimistic in the league. You're more
They
optimistic
are.
than Arsenal. How's that work? How's
But
that?
it could happen. We've made some good signings, and I think if we get another few, I think we could definitely push up the table. But yeah, I think good
Yeah, you
result.
can do it.
Nice.
Right, I'm just going
Now
to flip this
round.
over again before we go on to the next game because I've realised what I've done wrong. Oh God, you'd forget I was a cameraman. God. There we go. Now I should be looking towards the camera itself. That's been on my mind for a bit. Right.
So we'll tally that then. So that's the third camera change we've had from Cal today.
Yep, third camera change. It's a new camera. It's being funky with me.
Almost as many games that we've talked about. Callum's changed his
More
camera.
more camera changes than games talked about. Oh my God. It's like
That'd be a theme.
it's shocking. Shocking. It's not even better. Oh my God. Oh
It's fine.
Jesus.
Leave it, Cal. Leave it.
Leave it.
We need to get on
I'll
to
work it
Sunday.
out. I'll work it out off camera. I'll work it out off
Yeah.
camera.
Right, we'll
Look
get on to
even worse.
Sunday now.
Right.
Starting off, Brighton Villa. 4-0 Brighton. Absolute demolition job. I mean, Villa, if you look at their team, the field, that it's nowhere near what it was
No.
last season. And I think with this Hemmings lad on wing, I mean, what on
No.
earth? I mean,
John
probably going to
McGinn
be
and
a good
Hemming
player.
as your wingers. No.
It's an absolute fall from grace, and especially if they're going to lose Watkins this week to Al Hilal, is it? I think it's a
That's
massive
done,
loss as
yeah.
well.
That and the
I
losing
think,
Martinez, the whole team just looks in trouble.
yeah,
Genuinely, I don't have much hope for Villa this season. Like, obviously, I mean, was he that desperate to not play Garnacho that he's played some lad that we've never heard of? It's scary. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand what's going on in the media with Villa either. Emery seems scared to mention what's going on behind the scenes when it's quite obvious something's happened. Because the team were playing like they were just annoyed at something, like there was something on their mind, and it's quite obvious what that was. It was Ollie Watkins. Like, he said that he's refused to play, but he won't tell us why. It's like he's telling us what's wrong, but he's saying like, I'm not actually telling you what's wrong. Like, he's forcing a move to Saudi, but I didn't say that. I think it's a mess. Like, you've probably got arguably the best manager in the league, and this is the team you're giving him. You've just won the Europa League. You're in the Champions League. Like, where's the money? It can't be FFP at this point because like they weren't really in that much trouble with it last summer. They've sold their entire team. There is no way they're in the red. No way. You have to give a manager like that players, or he's going to walk.
Yep, and
Y-
I think that's the concerning part for Villa if he does walk,
Yeah,
because then if you get someone else in that isn't, well, that probably won't be as good that would accept the Villa job, especially with the players and what they have at the minute. It could
yeah,
be a slippery slope if they don't sign well in this last week, which is it's only a week. So what can they realistically sign? I just think they need a lot in a short
yeah.
space of time, which it probably isn't possible. Um, and Brighton look good, but Brighton always look good. They always look solid.
It's
So
Brian.
there's nothing really to take away from that apart from Brighton look good again. Villa need a lot more players.
Yeah.
That's about it, to be honest. I think, yeah, demolition job.
Yep. On to Sunday.
Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1.
Ryan
Very
Cherky
scrapey
saved them.
game. Yeah.
Cherky, it was their saviour that game. As soon as Cherky come on, the game looked different. I mean, as soon I watched that game, I ended up turning it off near the end and switching to the Villa game, and then got a notification that they'd scored. I honestly thought City had no chance of coming back, and I looked at the team. I was so lost. Gahey was a 6. Kusanov, I know he's played right back before, but it's not his main position. On the team sheet, I know he wasn't there in the end. I know he was a number 10, which he was in the academy. But they had Nico O'Reilly listed on the wing. Like, you've got Grealish, who had a good season at Everton. You might as well play him if Jeremy Doku's injured. And the whole team just looked all over the place. Like, formationally, they were all over the place. And for Tavernier's goal, who was marking him? He was left. No one was near him. You've got on his strong foot as well, basically a tap in. He's never missing that. So there's a lot of concerns for Man City because I feel like it's no one wants to be the guy. They said this a bit about Jurgen Klopp. They said it about Wenger. They said it about they said it about Mourinho, Chelsea, and they've said it about Fergie. You never want to be the guy who replaces them. You're replacing the best manager in the league's history, and that's your debut at home against Bournemouth. It's like, what are you doing? Can't be doing that.
Yep. Yep, I
Oh,
agree with you, and I think it is a worry for Man City to obviously they've replaced Guardiola with Maresca, and I think it's a decent appointment, but it ain't brilliant. I think they could have easily lured one of the top managers in the world away from their club, like an Enrique from PSG. He's won it twice. I think the prospect of going to the Premier League and managing Man City, I think it's probably very doable. But gone with Maresca, someone that knows the players, knows the club, and hopefully it does work out for him. But I don't see it for the next few seasons. I think it's a transitional period. I think they've got a lot of young players. Obviously, losing Rodri as well, I think it's going to be massive.
Irreplaceable.
Yeah, so it's a transitional period, but I think they will come good. And I think they'll still get top 4 100%. I just think they won't be fighting for the league. I think Arsenal have got a bit of a weight off the shoulders this season, with Man City not breathing down the neck, I think.
Yeah. I think all the teams that are like all there or thereabouts are in transition periods. I can't see Liverpool anywhere near it. I think Chelsea, they have way too much change to do in their squad. Like they were playing how many defenders against Fulham and still conceded 2 goals. I can't see them being near it. And Tottenham, and Tottenham and United just out of the question after their opening games. I think Arsenal will run away with it this season, but I'm looking at City, and I've just got a funny feeling Maresca won't last. It isn't anything against Maresca, but City fans are some of the most infamously hard to please. Like some of them wanted Guardiola gone a couple of years ago. It's like you can never say that. It's like I can't imagine Liverpool fans saying they wanted Klopp gone, but some of them were doing it. It's like it's one of those managers that you can't sack. So if some of them wanted Guardiola gone, they're going to want Maresca gone. And
I think it's a bit of a fact where you don't realise what you have until it's gone. Same as you with Klopp, and I know you won't leave year after, but I think you're noticing it now more than obviously the season where you won the league. But
I don't think. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't think we'll ever be the same team we were, and I don't think City will ever be the same team we were. I think it's going to be a long time before we see a title race where it's 2 teams pushing 90 points every season.
Yeah,
no one's near that.
Like I was saying, I think City will realise what they had, and now it's gone. I think that will. And then moving on to your club on Sunday, Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2, rescued it at the death with a questionable penalty, but I think it probably was a penalty. Not a brilliant performance. Newcastle, obviously a lot of people writ Newcastle off, but I think Newcastle played well. But is it the case that they played well or you played bad? I'm not sure. I think a mix of both, really. But yeah, what do you think? Point on the board?
I don't think either side was brilliant. I think Newcastle scored early on quite a good goal from Elanga, taking advantage of a gap in our defence, which is obviously something we need to sort out from last season. But obviously, like I said earlier, it's a transition period. We're not going to be playing Areola football right off the bat. And the fact that some Liverpool fans think that it's Areola's fault that we conceded that goal is madness. So anyway, Newcastle, I don't think they were the best. I feel like they could have maybe ran away with it, but I feel like they just sat back way too early. I think if they maybe went for a second goal or potentially even a third earlier, they could have had Liverpool out of the game completely. And on Liverpool's part, not the best. Completely overran in midfield. And on both goals, it was because Gravenberch was far too up. Both goals came off a counter-attack off Gravenberch playing a straight pass in the final third. Gravenberch shouldn't have been there in the first place. I know he's good in those areas, but he is the 6. As much as Liverpool fans like to say he's not a 6, he is, and he should be staying deeper. But we have him up as a 10. I don't understand why. That was the problem with Slot last season. So I think if Liverpool were to do better going forward, we can't have Gravenberch going off on runs and leaving all that area open, especially because in that area is Frimpong, who's been called out defensively. I don't think he's nearly as bad as people say he is. And Jockey, who's in his 3rd season of professional football, you can't put that weight on those lads. And if you're going to have him going up, you might as well swap him and Szoboszlai around, because I'd feel a lot more comfortable if you're putting that burden onto Virgil van Dijk and Kirkes than Jockey and Frimpong. It's just not fair. Not fair at all.
I agree. I think, like you said, I think Gravenberch is too high, and I think similar to Rodri for Man City, Caicedo for Chelsea, Rice for Arsenal to a point. I think he's your anchor that you need to play it deeper and just to get him to sweep up, and I think it'll work 10 times better. I think that's what it is. That's the type of player he is.
He's got the ability to do it. He's nowhere near as bad defensively as people say he is. I think he's very good defensively. It's purely because he goes on these runs too often. If he was just a little bit more defensively disciplined, if Iraola just says to him, "We're conceding loads of goals, stay back, and maybe only go for those runs if we're 1 or 2 goals up," honestly, I think it'd be so much better. Like, that's his
Yeah.
job. He's the six.
Yeah. So point on the board, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
First game at season, both teams will improve, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Moving on to last night, anyway, Monday to finish off last week. Fulham 2, Chelsea 3. Very good game to watch,
Very good
which
game.
is a not a regular occurrence in the Premier League anymore, but it were a really good game to watch. I think end-to-end football. Yeah, good result for Chelsea to start us off. Bit shaky at the back, like we said earlier, for the amount of defenders they had, but clinical enough when they needed to be. 2 sloppy goals, but got the win in the end, so it's what matters.
I've got to give my praise to Fulham as well. A lot of us have written off Fulham as maybe even a relegation side, and I know half their team's just Madrid's academy, but honestly, I think they look really good. You're against a team that everyone's hyping up to potentially be title contenders, especially their lack of Europe, having Xabi Alonso as your manager. But you got an unproven manager who's only had 1 season in the top flight, with a team who haven't strengthened really in the slightest, who look really vulnerable defensively, and he nearly got a result. To be fair to him, like obviously the first goal that they conceded was horrendous. So, like, what were they doing? Awful. But I think maybe if they make a few more signings before deadline day next week, honestly, I think Fulham could stay up by a decent margin. Look a
Yeah, I
lot
agree
better than
with you.
people
I
say they
think,
are.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think
Yeah.
people obviously write them off and saying, oh, they could be just slip into that 18th or be 17th. But I do think with that confidence of playing against Chelsea first game and nearly getting the result, I
Yeah.
know it's not the result they wanted, but I think the way they played, I think they were quite good. And I think Josh King looked very, very good as well. I know he had bits last season, but maybe this is his season to come out a bit. I think he looked very good.
I think he's a future England international. It's just he just oozes quality, and I feel like he's 18, isn't he? Or is he 19? How old is he? Because he's been in that Fulham team for a bit
Um,
now.
yeah,
They seem
probably,
to
I
have
think 19.
around
I'd, I'd,
18,
I'd say
19.
19. Yeah.
Yeah, like as long as they don't follow the pattern of selling their young camps to Liverpool too early, like I feel like they could have a gem. Honestly, I think there's a really good player in Josh King.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Do you want to move on to the league table prediction?
Yeah, all right.
All right. Do you want to start
Uh,
from the top or the bottom?
I think we'll start from the bottom.
Okay. Do you want to start with
I've
your
obviously
relegation
made
teams?
right. I've made a little bit of a change since the video they put up. So at the bottom, I've gone Coventry. I don't think they're strengthened at all. Above them in 18, in then 19th, I've gone for Ipswich. I don't think as good as they've been. I don't think they'll stay up. I think one injury could ruin them, like majorly mainly in CISO, and 18th. Sadly, after that result against United, I've gone for Hull. I just don't think you can have that consistency playing that football across the whole season, because you'll slip at some point, and you can't get through a season without making a mistake. It's pure human error.
Yeah. Well, I've gone very similar but different. I've got 2 of your teams in there. I've got Coventry last and 20th, and then in 19th, I've got Hull. In
Yep.
18th, I've gone with Crystal Palace.
Ooh.
I've gone a bit different, and I think they'll struggle. I think they really will. And I think they'll be either 18th or 17th, and I've just put them in 18th to be a bit different. But do I believe that? Maybe not. But I have put them in 18th just out of maybe, I think what we conversated about earlier with them losing players and possibly losing Mateta as well, and Munoz looks like
Yeah.
he might go as well, which is a big one but not too big one. I think they could struggle. I think they really could.
I do think they've missed Munoz, but they have got Mingueza, and he's a good right back who could cover him. And it's probably the signing of him is why he's flirting with Everton so much. Munoz. Do you want to
Yeah.
carry on, because I'm going off memory? You've got the
Okay.
thing next. Yeah.
So in 17th, I've gone Ipswich just to stay up, but could also drop with Palace moving above them. 16th, I have gone with Fulham. I just don't. I think they're going to be all right, but I don't think they're going to be brilliant. 15th, I've gone Sunderland. I think with the pressure of Europe, I think they'll relax a bit in the Premier League and go for it, but I still think they've got too much quality to go down. But yeah, that's what I've gone with the next three.
For my next three, I've gone for Fulham in 17th. As much as we just gave them a lot of praise, it's the same case as Hull. I don't think they can be consistent in the football they were playing across the whole season. And then above, I've gone for Crystal Palace and 15th Sunderland. It's the same reasons you put them there. Europe struggle a bit.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And then in 14th, I've gone with Forest. I think again, struggle but not struggle as they did last year. I think they'll just steady themselves and have a year under Glasner and then kick on season after. I think with a few signings, I think they'll be fine. 13th, I've gone Everton. Everton normally around that place. I just think could be higher, but I just think mid-table's fair. And then in 12th, I have gone with Villa. I don't see them challenging at all for Europe. I think they're going to have a season out of it, and I've gone with them in 12th.
So I'm the exact same for you, but exact same as you there. But instead of Villa, Newcastle, I think they'll be in 12th. As good as they were against Liverpool, they don't look the best offensively, and they're very reliant on the opposition making a mistake, which is very similar to how they were under Eddie Howe. And as I don't think they've improved in the transfer market. So as much as they've improved their side, like how they're playing, their team itself is so much worse, and you can't put them any higher, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, that's speaking of Newcastle. I've just got them one higher in 11th.
Yeah, he can put them higher.
I've just got them one higher in 11th. And then 10th, I've got Leeds. And then in 9th, I've got Bournemouth.
Okay. Right, I'll try and re-jog my memory. And 11th, I've gone for Brighton. I think they're very good, and the only thing is Europe going to slow them down a bit because the depth is a little bit questionable, especially with like Jan Minter being out to October and then potentially being bought by Liverpool. So I don't know. For 10th, I've gone for Brentford. I think they'll be there or thereabouts. Actually, I've just remembered Villa dropped off. Sorry about that. 10th, I've gone for Villa. I put them in Europe, and after that first game, I can't see them getting Europe. Sorry about that. Did you say 9th?
Yeah. No. Yes. Right. Yes, I did. Bournemouth. I have Bournemouth.
Also Bournemouth. I think they'll push for Europe, but they'll miss it by like one or two places, depending on who gets the 5th place spot for the Champions League. And I just think they would have got Europe if it weren't for them being in Europe. I do really rate Marco Rose as a manager, and I think they'll be thereabouts. I think next season they'll get a European place, but I think the Europa League for the first time will hold them back just a little bit.
Yeah, agree. And I'm going to go with 8th, 7th, 6th and 5th then, and then leave the Champions League places. So in 8th, I've gone with Spurs. I think sneak into conference, don't think they'll do anything else. 7th, I've gone Brentford. 6th, I've gone Brighton. Bit of a rogue shout, but I think they've got enough to do it. And I think with the teams around them, I don't think there's much quality this season. And then 5th, I have gone just missing out Man United.
Okay, I've just realised I've messed up my predictions. I'm trying to think of who I've missed out. I've missed out someone. And
you've not said Leeds. That's why I was
Leeds. So Leeds 8th. I was going to say Leeds 8th, just missing out on Europe. But I forgot who I've missed out completely, so I'm going to have to leave that and get stitched up in the comments later.
Yeah. Do you want me to just move on to mine?
Yeah.
Do you know your top 4?
They were top 6.
Well, yeah, all right. Do you want to do your top 6 then? From 6th?
I've gone for Spurs in 6th. I've gone for United in 5th. I've gone for Chelsea in 4th, and then I'll leave the top 3 for after.
Perfect. Yeah, so I've got Chelsea in 4th as well. I think they'll get Champions League football, definitely.
Yeah.
Just don't think they've got enough to challenge for a title just yet. 3rd, I've gone Man City. 2nd, Liverpool, and 1st, Arsenal, who I think this season it won't be close and they'll run away with it, if I'm being honest with you.
Fair enough. You've got Liverpool high, then I've got Liverpool. I've put Liverpool 3rd purely because of transition, but I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 2nd over Man City. I've gone for City in 2nd, and like everyone, I've put Arsenal 1st. I just think their league's above everyone right now. And my big complaint about them last season, was the defensive football. It's not great. But this season, they're playing much better football. They're actually playing attacking football, which is amazing because their back four is still four centre halves. And I feel like Havertz is looking a lot better this season. I feel like he's unlocked them quite a bit. Because I feel like as good as Gyökeres was, like stats wise, to the eye and for the whole system, he kind of held them back a bit. So I feel like if Havertz keeps playing and he keeps playing as that false nine, he'll unlock the wingers a bit more. And I could see Saka and Solis just scoring for fun.
Yeah, 100%. I think Arsenal will run away with it. Like you said, I think they've just got much more quality than everyone else, and they know how to play as a team. It's not been too much of a disruption, not too many players signed. I think perfect balance. They've got what they needed. I think they'll be more than fine. I think they'll get over the line by a distance.
Yeah.
And then to move on to our player at season.
For this season, well, I'll let you go first.
I have gone with Declan Rice just on the basis of I think Arsenal will walk it. I think they'll get the league, and I think Declan Rice is obviously pivotal, like we saw last season. I think he will get it just for that. And then an honourable mention, I have gone with Cole Palmer. I think looked really, really good last night, and I think if he carries on that form, I think he could be in with that shout.
I've got a few that I can't choose between. 2 for Arsenal, 2 for Chelsea. So Declan Rice is the first one, him or Bruno Guimaraes. I think whoever out of those two is the more advancing one. I think will be the player who is the most important for Arsenal next season. Like if I were Arteta, I'd probably play Rice a bit deeper because Rice is much better defensively than Guimaraes. But honestly, it could be either or. And then for Chelsea, it's either Morgan Rogers or Cole Palmer. I was a big fan of Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen, and how important those cams were for his formation is crazy. And having Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers as those number 10s behind arguably one of the best, if not the best number 9 in the league, bar Haaland and João Pedro. It's a phenomenal player. Honestly, I don't know. I can't pick between the 4 of them.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that front. And then a young player at season, I've gone with a bit of a, I'm not sure. I've got a toss up, and I think it depends on if he plays, which is Rio Ngamoa for Liverpool. I think if he plays and he plays well, he plays every week, I think he will get young player at season 100%. And then I've gone, in my other mind, if he doesn't play, I've gone with Nico O'Reilly from Man City.
I wanted to say Nico O'Reilly, but he won it last season. I'm sure he won it last season, so I didn't want to repeat it. So my brain says Rio Ngamoa because I think he's going to be in Liverpool's team quite a lot this season. Even if we signed 2 wingers, which the media is saying, I still think Rio, like he's going to be in every week. But because I'm a Liverpool fan, if I want to throw someone else in there, I have a funny feeling Max Dowman's going to get a good shot this season because he looked really good in the number 10, and it's a position that doesn't seem to be nailed down at Arsenal at all. Because 1 week it's Odegaard, 1 week it's Eze, 1 week both of them just aren't performing at all. So honestly, I have a funny feeling Max Dowman could have a good run in this season.
Yeah, maybe it won't be a shock because he played a bit last season. Obviously, a year more developed, out of high school now, so we don't have to worry about that.
He isn't FaceTiming Rice while he's in an English lesson anymore.
No, yeah. And then with manager at season, I think it's Arteta. I think win the league, you get manager at season, don't you? So Arteta's going to be
essentially. I'm probably going to give it to Arteta. I don't see any other manager really coming close to what he'll achieve this season. Like I could see Arsenal winning maybe some of the cups as well, but I don't know. It's way too early to predict the cups. So I'm gonna have to give it to Arteta.
I agree, and then I've just gone with signing of the season. I think as another little segment. I think, as we've mentioned him before, and you've mentioned him for player of the season shouts, I think Morgan Rogers will be the signing of the season. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Morgan Rogers. I feel like he unlocks that Chelsea side because without him, we were all questioning who was going to play there. Like there's loads of different. I even saw some people say Enzo Fernandez. It's like it was all over the place for who's getting suggested. But I feel like with Morgan Rogers there, Chelsea just become that scary side that no one really wants to play.
100%, and I think, as you said there, front three is possibly the best front three in the league. I think that'll get the most goals
easily.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to a new segment that we have, FPL.
FPL.
So do you want to start off with this one?
Uh, since the idea only come out about an hour ago, I don't know exactly what to start with.
I
Uh,
think, yeah, I've got a list of the players who scored the most points this season, this game week, sorry,
yeah,
which was Mendy and Ajay from Hull City. They got 15 and
yeah,
14, which is, you understand, a clean sheet goal. And obviously the
clean
shock as
sheet.
well,
Both got a
DEFCON
goal. Yeah.
points. But that won't continue, so I wouldn't recommend getting them in your teams, to be honest with you. I think they'll ship quite a lot of goals.
I'll be fair. I've transferred Nobel Mendy in because I watched the whole game and he looked untouchable. So I do think he'll get a lot of. I think he'll get a lot of points this season. 'Cause I think he'll score a few goals. So for that cheap defender spot, I did have Awake in for the first week because I quite liked watching him in the Championship. But after watching Coventry, I just thought I need to get him out of the team because Coventry aren't going to do much this season. So I have put Nobel Mendy in, but only as a cheap defender. Don't have him as your defender you're gonna rely on. Because you're gonna look like a mug. Don't put all your money into attackers and midfielders. Put some money into your defence. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually didn't have any 4 million defenders. I don't think this week 4.5 million,
Yeah.
because I had my bench boost, so I had quite a few decent players on there. And I am
You
top of
are.
the league
Well,
for Premier Sports News Blitz, so hopefully that continues. Doubt it.
last time I checked, I was fourth. And I am annoyed with myself because I would have been top if I didn't listen to the transfer news. So originally I had Illiman and Ndiaye on the wing, and I was looking at over 6 million wingers because that's all my budget had. Because I thought he was going to Al Hilal, and I got stuck out of my account, so I was stuck with Rio there because he was probably the best 6 million option for a week because I couldn't get into my account until like 10 minutes after the deadline passed. So if I got in 10 minutes before the deadline passed, I would have been top. I would have got in the I would have got an extra 9 points. I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I had Zolis in there. I think he was 6.5, but just 500,000
Yeah,
over than his six
he was
million
just over.
options. I had him in, but I think he only got like 6 points. But still, 6 points is better than one.
6 points is better than one, yeah.
Brentford have had a few high scorers as well this week, with Sangari with 14 points. I did have him in. And
Yeah,
then Coyote as well with 14 points. So 2 high scorers for Brentford there, 2 options
hmm
to have as well. I think other than the Hull players, which I said probably don't get them
hmm
in, I think these 2
yeah,
Brentford players I think will be solid, and I think they are definitely options
yeah.
for you to get in.
I sat on the fence between Pedro Paro uh, Coyote for a bit. I think the only reason I ended up going for Poro in the end is because of how much I hyped up Coyote last season. I just thought if he comes on and he's rubbish, I'm gonna look like a right idiot. I'm gonna look like a
Yeah.
right idiot, and now I look like an idiot because Pedro Paro got injured before. It wasn't my week. I still got fourth. I'm still happy, but could have done
Not a
much
bad
better.
start. Yeah,
I had
not a
a
bad
bad
start. And
start.
then Arsenal had a few high scorers as well, with Odegaard 11 and Ben White with 11 as well.
hmm
Um, yeah, Ben White obviously played really well. Assist, wasn't it? Assist? Yeah,
Yeah, he's very good,
assist.
but he doesn't strike me as the type of player you'd put into an FPL team because he's not the player who's going to be going and getting those assists week in week out. You want like your corner takers, your free kick takers, all those sorts of defenders. Like, and if you want a defensive one, you want like a Virgil van Dijk or a Gabriel. And the only reason I don't have Gabriel is because I wanted a balanced team instead of just having the most expensive players out.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I think Ben White's probably not an option to pick in the future, and I
No.
think probably people will be putting him in, but not sure on that one.
No.
I've got there's definitely better options. I think
If you're to put
Calafiori
an
will play
Arsenal
more.
defender in, yeah. If you put an Arsenal defender in a heartbeat, I'd have to give either Konza because he's 4 million, and last season he was really good for me in general. So I have Konza in, and he was a Villa player when I put him in actually. And either that or Calafiori because he's had a brilliant start to the season, and I can't see him being dropped at all as much as I rate Capia.
Yeah, well, I have Calafiori in, and he got me 9 points, I think. So I'm going to keep him in. Decent start. I were actually tossed up between him and Gvardiol, but I put him in the end. Gvardiol probably got an extra few points, maybe because of his goal. But then again, no clean
Yeah,
sheet, so maybe not. Maybe it's same. I'm not sure, but 2 decent picks.
I can't really see Guardiola playing left back long term this season. especially with the little experiment of playing Gahey in the 6 actually kind of paying off a little bit. So last season I would have gone Gvardiol, but if you're going to go for a City defender, you'd have to go for Nico O'Reilly because he's going to be playing in midfield quite a bit this season. So in my mind, that's even more assists for him.
Definitely, and I've just got another 2 written down here. Another Brentford player, Lewis Potter with 10, scored obviously, and then Kieran Dewsbury from Everton who got 11, and João Pedro who got 11 also. I think João Pedro's in everyone's team. I don't think
He's
you
in
see a team
everyone's team.
without him in.
He's been a staple at FPL for like the last 3.5 years. I don't remember a team I've had that hasn't had João Pedro in, like when he's not like injured or something. I think the only reason I ever took him out is injured or like the one time he went for a little bit of a dry patch of scoring last season. I think he was my best player last week, and I spent like 10 minutes thinking who should I captain, Haaland or João Pedro, and I made the mistake of captaining Haaland.
I did
Wasted
the
in
exact
triple
same.
captaining. Oh God, whole country did. He let the country down that day.
The first time ever I've put Man United players in because I actually want to win my leagues this year, but I refused to put them in the other years. They had an absolute stinker and lost me loads and loads of points, so at least we didn't captain Bruno Fernandes, even though he'd probably had the same points as Haaland if he did.
I was looking at United's team and the midfield, Tielemans, Santos, Fernandes. 3 very good players, but together I'm not too sure. I feel like one through ball and that midfield's just gone. Like nothing we can do against that. And against a team that's all going to be about the long ball, the deep line, the pressing. I just felt like it wasn't going to be the game for United, and I'm glad I trusted my gut. I didn't put any United players in, not because I don't put United players in, but because I just didn't think they were going to get a result, and I was right. It didn't get a
Yeah,
result.
well, lucky it paid off for you then, but it didn't pay off for me. I'd have been laughing at the top if it did. But yeah, as you said, I think it'll through balls and things against that midfield because it's not very defensive at all. I think it'll bypass a lot, and they can't probably set up like that against anyone decent, even though they've lost to Hull and set up like that. I just think that
I do think Andre Santos could be that player, but he's not there yet. He needs a few years of like a disciplined CDM next to him to learn off, and they do not have a disciplined CDM. And I know Balaba's coming in, but he's not known for his defensive brilliance. He's known for the odd mistake. So even with Balaba coming in, I struggle to think of how that midfield's going to cope this season, especially since I believe Tielemans, especially since leaving Leicester and joining Villa, he's more of a number 10 than a number 6. He looked hopeless against Hull. I know I always question the signing, but never more than now. It's not a player they needed.
Yeah. Well, they haven't replaced Casemiro, have they? Which is the big one for in midfield. They needed someone like him, and they haven't done that, so might struggle in that department.
The other thing that's really racking my brain is last season, Kobe Mainoo was seen as like their star player, and now they've signed 2 players that play the exact same role as him. He's not going to get in that team, so what was the point in putting so much faith in Mainoo if you're just going to bench him? I don't get it.
And especially for spending whatever money they spent, we're at 50-60 million on Andre Santos, when you've got Kobe Mainoo there, was probably going to be better than him in the future, and if you're given him the game time, it's a bit of a weird one, I think.
I think they got a little bit too excited when they saw who was available and just jumped the gun a little bit like Liverpool last season. I think jumped the gun on a few signings, and those signings might cost them.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. But yeah, nice little FPL segment done for the first week. I think, to be fair, we'll carry this on every week. We'll have a look every week, see what's happening, see who's injured, see who's playing well, and carry this on for you. I think it's a good little segment, definitely.
Just saying this to make sure the editor puts it in. Make sure to put our teams either side of us, just so people can laugh when we when we mess up.
Yeah, but yeah, we can move on to next week now and give some predictions if you want to round off the show.
Oh yeah.
So on Friday we've got Crystal Palace versus Man City. In my opinion, I think Man City will win, but again, I don't think it'll be convincing. I think Crystal Palace didn't look brilliant at all, but I think Man City need to get going. And I don't think they will just yet, but I think Man City by 2-0. I think
it'll be 3-0 for City. I think it'll be a bit more convincing. I think the first two goals will come early, maybe in the first 25 to 30 minutes. And then there'll be a late winner because maybe a bit of pressure from Palace. Maybe it might be 3-1, but I don't look at Palace and think that they could maybe even touch Man City, especially with like Sarr being rumoured to go to Galatasaray. I can't I can't see Palace getting anywhere near a result, so I'm going to say 3-0 Man City.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that as well. I just don't think Crystal Palace are any good at all. And then thinking of my 2-0 predictions, I have got that in my Saturday game as well, which is Liverpool Forest. I've got 2-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not sure about Forest. When I watched them, they didn't look good going forward at all against Leeds, and
Mhm.
that's against Leeds, not against one of the big boys. Yeah, I think you'll get a result. I think 2-0 Liverpool.
I hate predicting Liverpool because it's my own team and it always comes back to bite me. But I'm going to say 2-1. Uh, I feel like we're still mastering the new defensive formation, adjusting from Slot last season, because you could still see a little bit of Slot's tactics last season hasn't rubbed off some of the players yet. Like Frimpong and Kirkes at times not tracking back when they should. And obviously we've got Jackie who's still learning. Like in the first goal against Newcastle, he wasn't moving quick enough to get back to do his defensive duties. But I don't know. I'll say 2-1, but I still think it'll be a convincing result. Maybe like a last minute goal for Forest. But yeah, 2-1.
2-1. All right. Moving on to Bournemouth versus Everton. I think Bournemouth will just get the win at home, just for being at home. I think they look good against Man City in bits. Lacked the finishing when they needed it, I think, in little bits. But I think once they get going, I think Bournemouth are very solid every year. And I think,
Yeah.
I think once they get Krupi back in the next month
Yeah.
or two, I think they'll be 10 times better. But I think they will just scrape past Everton. 1-0. I think I'm not too sure. Maybe a draw.
I think it'll be a bit more convincing than you've said it. Like, I've got nothing bad to say against Everton here, but I feel like Bournemouth are just a better team, and the Vitality is an awful stadium to go to. Like, I know it's not like the fanciest stadium, not the biggest stadium, like probably small. I think it's the smallest in the league.
Mm.
It's one off, but it's a horrible stadium to go to purely because Bournemouth, like last season especially, were untouchable there. So I think it'll be 2-0, maybe 3, but I don't wanna diss Everton too much, so I think, yeah, 2-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah, more than fair. And then moving on, two promoted sides going head to head, Coventry versus Hull. I have got Hull to win it, but I
Yeah.
think it quite could easily be a draw. But I do think Hull will win away from home. I'm not sure about Coventry. I think Lampard's not a good
Mhm.
manager in the Premier League, and especially with the team that he has, I just don't see any hope for him, to be honest. And we've
Yeah.
both got bottom in our Premier League predictions, and I think that's for a reason. So I've gone with
Yeah.
Hull 1-0, but I think it could be a draw as well.
I feel tight 'cause I spoke to a few Coventry fans, and they all love Frank Lampard, but I hate to say it, he's not a Premier League level manager. We've seen it a few times. I know he's had a good-ish run with Chelsea before he, was allowed to sign players, but as soon as he gets money, he just seems to spend too much of it on the wrong players. Um I think he's done that a bit with Coventry. There's a lot of areas that they needed to improve in, like the left back. I don't think De Silva's a Premier League level left back. I don't think he's good enough. I think they needed to improve in areas like that. I can't see them beating Hull after that game. I think it'll be scrappy, 1-0, but I don't think I don't think Coventry will get anywhere near. Like I don't think they'll get a shot on target. I don't think they'll be near it.
No, I think what could just drive them is their home atmosphere. I think they've got a decent home
Yeah,
atmosphere, and to drive them forward a bit. But I just can't see it. And I'd be happily proved wrong because I do
oh
like
yeah,
Coventry as a club, but I do think Hull will win that one, like we said. And then
yeah,
rounding off Saturday, Tottenham Newcastle at Tottenham, which, to be honest, I've got no clue really what's going to happen here. With other teams, you'll have a bit of an inkling, but here it's a very weird game to predict. I think Tottenham do need to bounce back definitely, and I think being at home does help. Newcastle obviously looked all right, but not brilliant. Same as
yeah.
well, Tottenham got destroyed, but I'm feeling a draw. I am. I'm feeling a draw, like a 1-1, to be honest.
uh, Yeah, I see what you mean. I think if all the attacking signings we were talking about for Tottenham were done, I think they would have thrashed them. but with how they played against Liverpool, who played quite a similar-ish style of football to De Zerbi, I, I think it'll be a draw. I think Newcastle will match their result with Liverpool 2-2.
2-2. And then that's Saturday rounded off, so then we go on to Sunday, Chelsea versus Brighton. I don't think it'll be as easy for Chelsea as we might think, but I'm going to... Do you know what? Big scoreline, 3-2 Chelsea again. That's what I'm going for.
I might have to match that. I think Brighton have shown that they're really good offensively and good defensively. So I might have to change it to a 2-1 because I feel like Brighton's defense is really good, especially with Vuskovic. I think he looks really good. I think he offers a lot more than, let's say, Dunk, for example. But I don't know. I feel like Chelsea aren't defensively there yet, but their offense is brilliant, best in the league. So I'm going to say 2-1, but I could see it being 3-2. I think last minute winner from like Joe Pedro or something.
Well, that'll be good for our FPLs if he does, so hopefully he does.
Everyone in the country, FPL, everyone, I think.
Yeah, so it won't really make a difference, to be honest, because everyone will get the same points for him. But yeah, then Leeds at home to Brentford. I know I'm a Leeds fan, and to be optimistic is good, but I think a draw is fair. I think us at home are very, very, very good, but I just don't see us beating them. I think they're very solid, and obviously we saw that against Tottenham. They're good going forward, quite good in defence. That Sangari in midfield's brilliant. When I've watched him, I thought he was just very, very good. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, and I'd be happy with that.
I'm not too sure, to be honest, because if they were at Brentford, I think Brentford would have won. Just to add to that, Sangari, 38 million Great British pounds. Where were the big teams at for him? What are we doing?
Yeah,
I don't know. Brilliant. I think purely because you're at home, I think it'll either be 1-1 or 1-0 to Leeds. Purely because you're at home. I think if you're at Brentford, I don't think you would have done it. But I don't know. I was quite impressed with Trafford when I watched you against Forest. I had a feeling he's going to. I think he might be restaking his claim as a potential England goalkeeper. I don't think he's near Pickford yet, but I think if he gets a good run this season, I think he could start to challenge him. Like I'm sure he'll be our next keeper after Pickford, maybe at the next World Cup, maybe a bit after, but I don't know. So I think if as long as you don't leak any silly goals against them like Tottenham did, I feel like you could scrape a win, but very hard one to predict.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I think we're very good defensively. I think we set up very well, very hard to beat at the back, especially with this new signing, Mahemarovic, however you say it. I've still not got it nailed down, but he's big, he's hard, and he's good in air, he's good at his feet. I think brilliant signing. Yeah.
He's big and he's what?
I don't know.
I'm not even going to attempt my name. It's going to be like when Szoboszlai signed, where I spent like an hour trying to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to attempt to butcher that on camera. I don't know. I can't predict that game.
Yeah. Well, Sunderland versus Fulham. Sunderland at home. Fulham obviously showed against Chelsea that they're quite a good team. And I think Arbelow is a decent manager as well. And I think if they can get going and show confidence from that result against Chelsea, even though it was a loss, I think they could beat Sunderland. And Sunderland losing at Ipswich is not good for a confidence boost whatsoever. But Sunderland at home, like we said, all last season are brilliant. And we've said now, they're brilliant. I'd be very tempted with a draw again. If not, a Sunderland win. But I'm gonna go 1-1.
I'm gonna say that they're gonna be like last season where they weren't great away, but they were untouchable at home. I think Sunderland will win. I think it'll be a 2-1, and I think all the results are going to be scrappy because I don't think anyone's really ready for this season yet, bar Arsenal. But yeah, I think 2-1 purely because it's at home. I think if it was at Craven Cottage, I think Fulham would run away with it. But I think Sunderland should win that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. And then finishing off on Sunday is Man United versus Ipswich. I think Man United at home against Ipswich, I think they will win. They need to win after last week, obviously, against Hull. And I think they'll win it well. I think I'm going to go with 3-0 Man United. I think it'll be a good result.
think anything but a win for Carrick's unacceptable right now because losing your opening match to a relegation side for a side that's fans had them in like title race discussions, which I think is a bit insane. But like everyone's got a right to believe in their team. I think no one's got a right to be put down for supporting their team. I think, but anything but a win and like a sizable win is acceptable for Carrick. I'm gonna say 4-0 or 4-1. I think Ipswich's defense isn't great. It's never been great, to be fair, and obviously they're not set up the best defensively. Going to Old Trafford, I just think the atmosphere at Old Trafford's going to get to them. I think 4-0, 4-1,
Yeah,
somewhere around
no,
there.
yeah, I agree with you. I think a big scoreline is inbound. And then finishing off next week is on Monday, Villa at home to Arsenal. Again, Villa not very good, but at home probably will be better. But I do think Arsenal will win that one. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I think they'll be comfortable in that game.
I'm going to match your scoreline. I'm going to go 3-1. As much as I want to go 3-2, I look at that Villa attack and I know that Maggio looks quite good, but he's a kid. Their wingers aren't wingers because I'd argue McGinn's more of a 6 than a winger, and Garnacho is just not the best footballer. Ross Barkley was starting in the 10 for him, and he's not really been a 10 for a long time. So I don't think they have the attacking options to get through that nearly impenetrable Arsenal defence. And obviously with Arsenal not playing defensive Tony Pulis style football this season, I honestly could see them going for like a big result to try and make a statement. So I'll say 3-1.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely. I think Arsenal have too much for Villa. But yeah, that's the roundup for next week. Hopefully some of our score predictions are true, apart from the Man United one. Hopefully they get beat well by Ipswich, but we don't see that coming. Anything else to add before we wrap up, Cal?
I'm praying on a Man United downfall.
Oh yeah, same, definitely. But yeah, I think we've covered everything really.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. I know it's been a bit of a longer episode, but that's only for the first episode really. It'll be shut down back to 50 minutes. So thank you for watching. See you next week.